Hi there, in this video we're going to be learning about renewable and non-renewable resources because next week we'll be focusing on renewable and non-renewable energy sources. So as you're watching the video, that should be looking like this a little bit. What I want you to do is, while you're watching the video, go to the second activity, click on the link, and it should open up like this. Now, so that you can watch the video as well as do the activity at the same time, because I'm going to be talking about the activity the whole time, one thing I'd like you to do is, if you're using a computer, drag the top bit tab and bring it all the way to the right, so it makes it sort of splits it in two. If you're not able to do that, maybe it would be wise to use a different device, use a phone with YouTube on it, and then your laptop or whatever you're using for the activity, so that you can still listen to me here and do the activity here. Because I'm obviously not going to be playing the video for myself, I'm going to minimize that and bring this back up to full screen. So what we're going to do is go through this presentation and complete the questions one at a time. Now, I want you to make sure we don't click on, just keep clicking on the screen and go all the way to the last slide, because it's just a PowerPoint. I could just click to the last slide and do nothing. That would obviously mean we won't learn anything. So make sure you actually give it a go and you click on the answers that you think it'll be. And if you don't get it correct, go back, click on the correct answer. So to do this, you might need to be pausing the video every now and then to try the question first. And you might need to rewind or fast forward wherever you're up to. So I'm going to start with this one. Is this resource renewable or non-renewable? So click what you think best describes propane gas. Do you think it is renewable or non-renewable, or neither? Once you've clicked it, I'll explain the answer. So if you clicked non-renewable, it is correct. Don't go to the next one. Listen to the explanation first. If you had have clicked renewable, well, don't forget, gas is trapped in the Earth's ground, and when we keep using it, it's not going to replenish itself. So eventually we will run out. So a renewable resource is something we can't run out of, because we will just keep reproducing it, making more and more. Non-renewable means that over a very long amount of time, we will eventually have none left. So propane gas that we use for maybe our barbecues, or maybe use it for a stove for cooking at home, it is non-renewable. It'll eventually run out, and we'll have to think of another way to cook up our yummy dinners. How about the sun? Is the sun renewable or non-renewable, or is it neither? Well, hopefully clicked renewable, because the sun is renewable. We can't run out of the sun. So if we have things like solar panels use the sun's energy to store power, electricity, but it doesn't deplete the sun. It's using its energy, but the sun's not going to run out of energy. It's going to constantly be a big ball of energy in the galaxy. How about sand? Is sand renewable? Is it non-renewable? Is it neither? Sand. What do you think? Sand is renewable. The reason why is because sand is just a mixture of either crushed up shell or crushed up rock, or if we did use sand and made it into glass, I believe there are some ways to eventually convert that glass back into sand. It takes a very long time, but you can. Scientifically, you can. So there you go. That's why it's renewable. But very hard to recycle, very hard to get back to sand, but you can. Wind, is it renewable, non-renewable, or neither? So really what I'm saying is, are we going to run out of wind? We aren't, so it's renewable. We can't run out of wind. We can use the wind, harness its power for energy to turn turbines, but we're not going to run out. Hats or leather or whatever this is. Is it having hats? Is it renewable? Is it non-renewable? Is it neither? I'm going to say neither. I'm right. So it's an object. So, I mean, maybe we'll run out of leather hats, but then we can just think of another material to make it out of. Maybe I'll make it out of some other material. Maybe I can use silk that comes from a silkworm, and that is a byproduct of the worm, meaning we won't run out. So it's kind of both. It's non-renewable if we used some kind of material, like, I don't know, maybe it's a metal hat. Eventually I'll run out of metal. And maybe it's renewable if I'm using some kind of animal where I can reproduce it and it's not going to be doing too much damage. Carbon dioxide, is it renewable or non-renewable? This is an interesting one because carbon dioxide is a renewable resource. We are never going to run out of carbon dioxide. Even if there were no humans on the planet, the Earth would still have a lot of carbon dioxide in it. Lots of plants use carbon dioxide to survive. It's not all bad, but as humans, we do produce a lot of it, meaning it's becoming an unsustainable way of living, and it's actually damaging the planet because we're having too much. But carbon dioxide in smaller amounts is totally fine and good for the planet, and we'll never run out of it. We have fossils. Is it renewable, non-renewable, or neither? Fossils are non-renewable because of how long it takes to get to be a fossil. So if I died right now, it would take a very, very, very long time for it to get to that point that someone could then burn up my ashes to then turn into something. So if you didn't know, oil or petroleum that we use for cars, some of it comes in plastic, comes from things like fossils. So fossils eventually can turn into oil, and that takes a very long time to get there. So because of how long, way longer than turning glass into sand, it's non-renewable. Fish, renewable or non-renewable? Have you ever heard the saying, there's plenty of fish in the sea? It's because there's lots of fish, and if we eat lots of fish, I have lots of sushi for dinner tonight, there's always going to be more. There's certain fish that I probably shouldn't eat because they're maybe going extinct, so it's not sustainable. But there's a lot of fish breeds where even if the population doubled, we'd still be okay because of how big the ocean is and how many fish. But we want to make sure we're doing it in a sustainable way. So there's things like sustainable fish farms. I would even prefer not using a fish farm and having a wild caught fish because that would be even better for the environment. We have pencil sharpeners. Is it renewable, non-renewable, or neither? A pencil sharpener will be neither because, again, depends what we're making the sharpener out of. So, yeah. Grass. Are we going to run out or not? We're not, so it's renewable. We aren't going to run out of grass. If I cut it and use the grass for a smoothie, if you're one of those strange people that do that, I guess the grass will just come back afterwards. So it's renewable. You can have as much yucky, healthy milk smoothies as you want. Coal, is it renewable or non-renewable? So again, coal, it takes a very long time for coal to be produced. And again, there's different types of coal. So in Victoria, we have a lot of brown coal, and it doesn't just reappear in the earth. So if we wanted more coal, we'd probably have to go to another planet. And I don't even know if they've discovered coal on other planets. So yeah, if we run out of coal, we'll have to just think of another way to make up energy. So it's non-renewable. We need to be thinking smarter about how we generate power. Water. Water is renewable. If I drink a glass of water, Eventually, that water will come out as sweat, or it might come out, I'm sorry to say, but in the bathroom, and eventually that particular water will become drinkable again, where that is condensed and goes up into the clouds and accumulation and then precipitation as rain. It'll then be filtered out and you can live off that water again. So completely renewable. Metal is non-renewable. So hopefully you got that one correct. So we will eventually run out of metal if we keep making more and more metal items. Aluminium can. So a can of Coke, would it be, or just the can itself, is it renewable or non-renewable? I'm actually going to say renewable because we can melt down the metal and make it into something else. So the metal that it came from is not renewable, but once we've already taken it out of the earth and made it into a can, or thankfully if we recycle it properly, we can make more. And as long as we don't mine too much aluminium, we will be okay. We have timber. Is it renewable or non-renewable? Well, if I chop down a tree and made a nice table, I would be able to grow more trees, so they're renewable. But again, we need to make sure we're doing it in a sustainable way, not to over-forest an area. Deforestation is a big issue around the planet. We have soil. Well, am I going to run out of soil? Probably not. So soil is a renewable resource. If I want to use it for different things, it's okay, because again, soil can be produced from, again, crushed up rocks. And yeah, again, with life cycles, we're not going to run out of soil. How about gold? Can we make more gold? No, so it's non-renewable. We can't create gold. So again, we need to get that from outside of the earth. It's not renewable if we run out. Wind energy. Well, this one I think you'd assume is, with me, it's an easy one. It's renewable. It's just turning big turbines using the winds. It doesn't use up the wind. It's just using the wind. So it's can't run out. Diamonds. Can I make more diamonds? Technically, scientists can make some kind of diamond type thing, but it's not truly diamond, so it's non-renewable. So apparently, yeah, you can use carbon, so people can even use their ashes to make a little diamond, but it's not a proper true diamond. So you definitely wouldn't be able to sell it for the same price as my wife's wedding ring, as an example. Cattle, renewable or non-renewable? If we eat lots of cows, will they reproduce? Yeah, renewable. So again, we don't want to overpopulate the world with cattle and overeat. Again, especially because of things like methane gas, they're not great for the environment. So actually having a plant-based diet seems to be the best way to do it. But if we're eating meat in modesty, probably still somewhat sustainable. All right, well, great job. I hope you learned something new after this video. Try and put in how many questions you got right. Or if you were doing it with me and you forgot to count, maybe write what's one interesting thing you learnt during this activity. All the best.